Today, I have a guest, Season Opitz, and they are going to chat with us because I'm dying here. Okay, I'm dying. They are offering me herbal support. Top of the morning to you too, there, Tiff. The cats are crazy. Season does not necessarily want to be on camera, so we're gonna look at their beautiful herbs and stuff like that, and I love that for us. Um, we're jamming. We're getting on here. I'm gonna still follow my little, three talking points, reframe this and the other thing, because I think that we really don't recognize how much stuff is tied to supremacy culture, right? Many of you come to this work on an anti-racism journey. Alexa, stop, which is beautiful. And I love that. Yeah, Coffee Cats and Des is happening. However, the idea is to go and recognize how deeply embedded into supremacy culture that we are. So here's my little talking points, and then I'm gonna introduce Season. So my three talking points for today is our bodies were never designed for their full wisdom under supremacy culture, right? Perimenopause is a revolution and herbs are our allies. Okay. They have been supporting me deeply. And I really realized, like, because I'm still dealing with ADHD and like forgetting, and I had not taken them for a few days. And then I was like, why can I not sleep? And I was like, so they do work. So they do work, right? Like they do work because I was sleeping so well when I was doing it regular. Talking point three, supremacy culture undermined our wombs. Okay. So we are still going to get the colonial ideas in regard to our perimenopause, right? This will be something that I've been wanting to get into anyway, right? Like decolonizing the body through various things. So today is one of those special episodes. We will still have our final episode in the Thought Terminating Cliches Word is Born series for June, but I wanted to do this. I found it to be important. So, all of that being said, let me introduce you to Season, who is in Arkansas. They run Dancing Spring Garden, and they have herbal remedies and all of the things, all of the earth magic. I'm not going to talk for them. They're going to talk for them. Take it over. It's on you, boo boo.
Well, thank you, Desiree.
All the Perry.
Good morning. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. This is my first live I've ever done, so I hope you'll, yeah, be patient with me as I, stumble through. Um, I am originally from Minnesota. I moved here to Central Arkansas about 2018, 2019. And I studied permaculture. I've been a painter and an artist and a sculptor, and I've wanted forever, for decades, to live in a warmer climate and be able to grow food and herbs and really connect. And I've been very blessed and fortunate to have the opportunity to start my little business. It kind of came upon me during COVID when I was um, decided to move here full time. And then I grew a bunch of starts. And somebody in Little Rock saw one of my posts, invited me to start at the farmer's market, specifically for the medicinal herbs. And from there, it just picked up. And I've been interested in studying plant medicine for a very long time. And now I'm feeling very honored to be able to show up in my communities around me and help people problem solve symptoms, which is amazing. It feels amazing to be able to do this. And I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to speak with y'all too. And I look forward to any questions or if there's any topics or specific symptoms we want to go over or anything at all.
Yeah, I can see the comments. So Kavita says hi from Australia.
Oh,
So if anybody pops any comments in there, I will absolutely read those to you. And
thank you.
I love earth medicine, plant medicine. I think that we definitely need to, good morning, Pega. We definitely need to be getting back to that, right? That's part of that community um
Right.
formulation, right? You came to me and I was
Yeah.
like, God, I was just posting and you're like, "Hey, so I have some suggestions and let me send you this package." And I'm like, "Dear God, this is amazing. What a beautiful gift," right? And when we think about this kind of stuff, like we could start because I attack systems. And I'm like, when you think about big pharma, and again, I often say that supremacy culture
Mm.
separates us from ourselves, from community, um, and from, like, the land, right? Like, just even that idea, right? Like, this huge disconnect. So they can then come in, co-opt, appropriate, take all of these things and make that whole big pharma. You'll hear people complain about these
Right.
but not recognize, well, the root of that is colonization, right? When we're talking about decolonization, it is not uh, just, it's for all people. Decolonization really helps every single person, right? It's not a party line. It's not that weird hierarchical thing that supremacy culture creates, right? Coming back to the earth, coming back to yourself, and really leaning into the of our bodies is such a deep part of the decolonization journey. When I first started doing this, I was like, we're going to do this in three parts. We're going to decolonize, mind, body, spirit, right? Which means decolonizing all of the things in your life, decolonizing the colonial Christian God, and decolonizing. I'm sorry, my cat is over here like whipping me in my face with their tail.
As they do,
Decolonizing
right?
body, and that meant everything, right? I had like
Mhm.
embracing duality, embracing the way these things change in our bodies. Because I was talking and like my sex drive is crazy right now, and I'm unpartnered, so I hate it. But I'm like 46.
Mm.
And I don't think that we talked enough about this, right? Like when we heard about the change, first of all, it was already the change. It wasn't really a real conversation. And I just had this idea that I was just going to stop bleeding and
Right.
get really hot. Nobody told me
Yeah.
46 with dealing with acne. I would be having raging hormones. I would be overheated and still bleeding. Like that is I feel the greatest betrayal of not talking about it, right? Because it's like, okay, so when did it happen? When? I've been doing this a long time since I'm like 12. I want to stop now. Oh, look,
Right.
you have some things in the comment. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I love it.
Well, I would like to throw in there, if I may, what you're saying about extractiveness. I mean, you're that's massively important to discuss because what's so special and important about connecting with nature and plant medicine wholly is we're working with the whole plant. We're connecting with the plants, and Western medicine colonization wants to get in there and find one little chemical or molecule and focus the attention on that, and then we wonder why we have so many brutal side effects. It's just the extension of the extraction, and
Yeah,
a disservice to all women and non men um, who are struggling and the silence. And we do need to talk about it and we do need to share the wisdom.
we
You
do.
know,
Because
yeah,
having having that extraction and it constantly it's taking the wisdom that we have, right? And everything gets distorted. Hold on. Carolyn says, my worst symptom is brain fog and tension. I feel like my
oh,
whole body locks up. Hormones are helping a bit, but not entirely. Then Mia says, the itching is the worst.
mm,
Skin, scalp, any ideas?
hmm.
Thanks. Kavita said, my traditional culture doesn't go to doctors every time we have a health issue. That is only left to issues that actually need treatment. My family used Ayurvedic medicine to treat health
Mm.
problems. I love Ayurveda.
Oh,
It's
so much.
so much. I 1,000 years ago went to the ashram here in Little Five Points to learn about like my
Mm.
diet, right? Like what kind of foods to eat for my
Uh,
Ayurveda is I love how body centered it is. But yeah, you go ahead and answer those questions 'cause that's not my jam. Yeah.
sure. I'll start with the brain fog. I very much struggled with brain fog and memory, and so I grow ginkgo biloba and I source local lion's mane. I also use local vodka and have this cognitive blend. Typically, using it for about a half a week, I noticed I started noticing improvements, and consecutively, just a week later, 2 weeks later, it just kept improving, and, people that are using that as well have had the same experience. So what lion's mane does is it supports, um, brain fog and recall. It helps create new brain cells. It helps the neural network communicate better. It's pretty remarkable. It helps fight degenerative issues. It also helps rebuild. So it does so much. It's incredible. And the ginkgo, what that does is it helps to move the blood in order to help the lion's mane do its job even better. So it's a very synergistic, lovely partnership. Now the itching, I might not have a good answer for that one. And it is that's a big one. A lot of people struggle with too, and nobody ever talks about that one. And then there's like the achiness. So I feel like itching might be helped with hormone balancing, but also like anti-inflammatory. And what I noticed in my journey is I had to quit drinking, I had to quit smoking, I had to quit doing coffee. I had to quit so much, and inflammation in my foods.
Mhm.
So it's not just I didn't say that, no. But, for me, yeah, eventually, yes, I
Oh,
had to because it was causing me so much distress in my body. I could the flushing got so much worse. Like, it just kept it pushes you. So perimenopause pushes you so hard to work through, quote unquote shadow work or personal work, body work. Like, this is the journey, ready or not. It's our adult uh, puberty, and
my
it pushes hard,
God.
and it makes everything exposed, and gives it's. I'll say it in a nice way, gives you an opportunity to work through some stuff, but it's so brutal for so many of us. It's so brutal, and not for everyone. It's not brutal for everyone, but for some of us, it's just a horror show,
I mean,
and we're so alone with it.
it's not that bad, I will say. And I mean, but I've been doing a
Well, it
lot of
can be.
um work anyway, right? Like just unpacking and consistently fucking unpacking until the point of exhaustion
Yeah.
sometimes. So it's not as brutal in regard to that. I think a lack of being
Yes.
made it harder, right? And this all goes to that first talking point, right? Because I try to still tie these things in. This month, we were talking about thought terminating cliches, right? So when we're talking about this, like our bodies were never designed for their full wisdom, it's all of this. Because I hear you, and it's just
Yep.
like, I'm so damn upset because I've been hearing my body. My body's like, you got to stop drinking. And I fucking love me a whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Right, right.
I
Mhm.
love having a whiskey every so often, right? And I'm talking about now, in the right moment, and if it's a really like spiritual gathering or something, I could go through it and not even really feel it, right? On another day, if I'm just trying to have a sip or two, like my ability to metabolize it no longer exists in the way that it did, right? And I'm like,
Mm,
and I do mean it, and not like in a tolerance level. I mean quite literally the way I metabolize it. Like it's so
exactly.
my body to come back to itself from. And I'm talking about 2 or 3 drinks. And the coffee, I refuse. I'm like, is there a way to do the decaf? Because I'm not giving it up. I'm just like, you shan't be taking every bit of my joy from me. I mean, I did
Right,
quit, right? Because like I was like, I'm getting older. I want to do these things. I want to pay attention to my body. So I just
right.
wanted to thank you for that as we move into talking point 2.
Yes.
Because we are really separated from our body's wisdom. And I wanted to give to everybody that's been here for the month for the thought terminating cliche that goes along with this is like when you're going through all of this, when we're ignoring our body's wisdom, what's been given to us, the thought terminating cliches
Mhm,
along with this is, oh, it's just hormones, or you're overthinking it. And
mhm,
wildly dismissive. And I wanted to offer that the reframe here is perimenopause is not a pathology, it's a portal. Our bodies are birthing wisdom, not defects, right? And when our bodies have been framed for only the use of
mm.
patriarchal, we lose the fact of we're not useless. Like it's not like I am my body freedom that I'm in right now. I've been sharing my weight loss journey and just like my perimenopause journey. This is not like this is me coming back to me. I can no longer breed or feed humans, and there is such a beauty in that for me, a freedom for that. I've been pregnant or nursing or birthing since I was 16 years old. I am 46. I had my first child at 17. And then the last three from this marriage, I was literally either pregnant, breastfeeding, or baby wearing for a decade straight,
Yeah.
right? With the last two,
Yeah.
I literally nursed 5 years non fucking stop. Like,
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
because Kira nursed through the pregnancy with Shady. I tandem nursed those kids, and I'm coming back to me, baby. I love that. So I really want to offer that as a reframe for those of you
Yes.
who are in this process. Like that, it's a coming home to yourself. And the reflection I want to offer you here is to ask yourself, when did you first learn to mistrust your body's messages, right? And what might change if you treated your symptoms as spiritual signals, not medical emergencies? Similar to like what Kavita said, right? Like we don't need to go to the doctor for every single thing. We have medicine women, medicine people, we have earth medicine, we have these indigenous practices that still very much exist and we should be tapping more into and looking to support these spaces because that's also communal support. And we have somebody, a comment. Stand by. Let me see. Oh God. Oh God. God, they're agreeing with you. Boo. This is my show, not Seasons. Thank you for
Oh,
quitting drinking, cut my symptoms in half. I'm not, I'm gonna just die then.
So it's not about like what I just said. That has to do with me and what I needed. I'm not talking about you know what I mean? Like, I didn't do it all at once. It took time. I'm really just intending to share what I needed to do, and it was brutal for me. You know, you might be good to drink coffee forever, and that might be just fine. But for me, it caused a lot of issues. And that's part of the listening to my body that I needed to do. You know what I'm saying? And the same with sugar. I really started struggling a lot with sugar and inflammation. So these are some things that might occur during the process
Are
that
they,
we want to listen to.
Kavita says, are they always hot flashes? I've been overheating slowly rather than a flush, and I'm not sure if that's part of
Yeah. Yeah, I have found that to be a thing, and also not just hot flashes and not just slowly heating, but also really having a hard time regulating temperature in general, hot
Ooh,
or cold. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
that
Um,
is right. So it's really more
mhm,
can have just temperature regulation. The other day I was outside
yeah.
and about profusely. I'm talking. It looked like somebody turned a faucet on top of my head, and it was so distracting.
Mm,
I was just like, "Oh my god, this is the
yeah.
absolute." Straight to the point says Sam E might help with Sam dash E. Maybe you know what that means. Might help with itching. It helps methylate and process histamine. I don't know if anyone heard it.
Hmm. I've kind of peripherally heard of that, but I'm not super familiar with it. Um, well, hold on a second here. I do know what I can say and recommend are a few things for hot flashes that I know work really nicely. Um, oh, it's a supplement. Okay. Yeah, so I do some work with supplements, but I do most of my work with herbs. So I have heard of that one, and I don't have any personal experience. But I know peppermint helps cool the body, so like a peppermint tea. Red clover, which is an ingredient in my mature moon, I rely on that very much, particularly for hot flashes. And then also like honeysuckle buds, interestingly, help with a cooling effect as well.
Oh, I have honeysuckle here. You're gonna have to teach me that. Let me see. Ariana
Hmm.
says, I'm tandem nursing now, been nursing for 2.5 years. It really takes it. Listen, solidarity. Solidarity, solidarity, solidarity. At 18 months, Morgan had to come out of my bed. I had nothing left. There's right. I told my then husband, I was like, She got to go over there." So like we've always had like the separate room situation. He's a night person. I'm a morning person. So in his man cave, there was a twin size bed, and him and Shady, they co-slept. I was like, I
Mm.
cannot anymore. I'll nurse throughout the day, but I had nothing left, you know? And I had talked to Kieran. I'm like, "You're big. I need to at least sleep through the night." And people do not recognize all of the things that our bodies go through and what we give, which leads me into the talking point too. And yes, we're definitely
Yeah.
going to go our 30 minutes, but it's going to be fun. So talking point two is perimenopause is a revolution, right? Because that is how I am. I'm like, oh, this next phase, this crone era, it's so beautiful, right? I really loved my maiden era. I loved my mother era. I'm still enjoying the mothering era. But baby, the way this crone is,
Hmm.
and like I said, the freedom, the return to one's body, right? I love being a little baby in that cute, like, okay, bye, sort of way. My uterus no longer aches. I have no desire to nurse or do any of those things. And there is that freedom, right? So I said perimenopause is a revolution and herbs are our allies. Season is going to, and we were just talking about that. Season is going to share how red clover tea helps soothe the hot flashes because that is what she had given to me. And it is actually really helpful. And I cool mine down because it's 1,000 degrees in Georgia, right? So I'll make it in the fridge. And the thought terminating cliches that go onto this is you need like estrogen therapy or natural remedies aren't proven. This irks me because it goes right into one of those pillars of supremacy culture of worship of the written word, right? We none of that stuff is proven. Anything that, like you said, like that extractive process that comes out, you'll pull one piece, one portion of something instead of dealing with the entire portion of the plant, the energy, the vibration, everything that it was grown in actually works better because we are also a part of nature instead of pulling this one, ooh, this is active and let's test it. And
Right.
whenever I listen to these medicines, I'm always the side effects are wild to me. And I'm like, I think I just rather have whatever my problem is. Like I don't know if I want to add the extra potential side effects into it, right? Where with plant medicine, it may take a little bit more time, right? And I was going to be honest, I'm shocked at how quickly the tinctures I could feel
Hmm.
in my body, right? Because I figured I'd have to build up more or for longer, right? I didn't see them as potent, I guess, in my mind. And I'm somebody that's
Yep.
taken tinctures for years, right? But it's usually more around energetic support, right? Like heart opening, love support, that sort of thing.
Mm.
Not for
Hmm.
uh, not for like physical things that I could quantify, if that makes sense. I try to make it
Yes,
make
very much.
and being able to tie the way, like I said, now I forgot to take it for like 2 or 3 days because, ADHD and I switched my routine.
Mm.
It made me forget. And I have not slept well for the past 2 nights. And I woke up this morning and I immediately, before I had my coffee, I was like, okay, soursop bitters, olive seasons, protocol here, and now my coffee. Because it really does make a difference. So anyway, um, the
Yeah.
reframe here is herbs are ancestral technology rooted in wisdom, tuned into our
Mm.
and that balance is what they deliver, not just symptom suppression, right? Which is what a lot of the medical field offers us is symptom suppression. Because like even when people were talking about brain fog, I was on gabapentin for like 3 years.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
oh, that's a bad one.
it was a horrible one, but it was the
Yeah.
only thing that stop my nerve pain. But the
Get
issue
it.
with stopping my nerve pain was it made me think that I was no longer damaged in that area.
Mm.
So I was continuing to push my body beyond the limits of what it could do, which only exacerbated the problem. And I wound up having back surgery anyway. But the
Oh.
coming back from that brain fog and not being on it, I was like, this is horrible. This is a horrible
Mm.
feel. I couldn't show up for myself, my family, my kids, or anything. It was terrible. And when you're thinking about, autoimmune diseases and so much that we suffer from,
Yeah.
that can be supported by plant medicine in a different way, in a vibrational way. I want to kind of
Yes.
get into right? Like, and the reflection I said is, what plant ally are you drawn to in this season? Like, I want people to question themselves because you just said honeysuckle. And I quite literally the other day, if anybody was on here, I was showing people my honeysuckle that is growing over my living fence. And I was like, I want to find something to do with that. And like, this is the
Nice.
that our body that we're talking about that gets disconnected with supremacy culture. And so, what shift in hormonal care would feel less violent and more generative? And that would be for you to answer there, Season. Like, how could
Yes, yes. Very nice. You know, one of the things I've gotten in touch with since I moved here is how nature, and we are nature, we are part of nature, of course, right?
indeed?
But how we are aligned and interacting all the time, and I noticed certain plants appearing around me, you
Mm,
know? And I would notice if I'm paying attention or if I'm ignoring, and then there would be more, and until I would, until maybe I would listen. And then I started listening and engaging. I've found that that's so beautiful. Like the medicines I've needed have just appeared around me because that's how much Earth and nature loves us, and we all want to heal together. And it's been a profound and beautiful experience and part of my menopause, perimenopause, and menopause journey. I finished perimenopause and went into menopause since I lived here. Um, and the lessons, if we're able to slow down, if we're able to sit and connect and breathe, experience, like spend time with the lady honeysuckle and the fragrance and the love, um, and make a tea and maybe sit, maybe even a sun tea or any tea that you prefer, or a
mm,
water infusion, and sit and just breathe and be there. And the leaves, the flowers are a great tea. And specifically, I've studied a bit of Ayurveda and also in traditional Chinese medicine. The unopened honeysuckle buds are very beneficial for the cooling. So, specifically to answer your question earlier, yeah. Um,
that's so
but
important.
it's,
Like sitting
yeah.
and being able to slow down, right? And really listening and look around. I've been talking this whole thing we've been talking about seasons throughout the past few months, right? I'm like, oh, it's gardening season, right? And really connecting with nature. And like to your point is like even like within our grass, right? Like the plants in broadleaf that we're out here spraying for
Mm,
weed or stinging nettle, right? These
mm,
things are nutritious for our body, right? Like, all of my
so
plants
much.
in the front of my house, I have like lavender, I have cactus, I have native plant front. That is my agreement because I do spray the hell out of the back, so I don't have to deal with mosquitoes. But my agreement with nature is like I won't spray the front, right? But please let me enjoy the back because I can't survive the mosquito stings. It's just doesn't work out well for me. But
Hmm.
having
Hmm.
to connect with nature to really listen to her, because when we talk about it and we say Mother Earth, we're really taking that as just a colloquialism instead of, what is a mother to you, right? Like someone that wants to hold you, to nourish you, to be there for you, right? Like to care for you. That is what mothering is, right? Like for me, anyone could be a mother. I think it's more an energy than a title, right? Like people will ask me, "Oh, well, like, can like my kids have they call their teachers mom?" Like, 'cause some of them that they actually like, they have one of Kieran calls his godmommy, mommy Leah, like, and I'm like, what a privilege it is that you come in with such strong energy that my children would want to bestow that privilege of calling you also mother,
Yeah,
right?
beautiful.
Marrying them
Mhm.
is not the only qualification of being a mother. It is how I show up every day. And if they are calling you mom also, or some variation of it, it means that they see those qualities in you. And I think that if we could take that time and see that in nature and really appreciate what mother means as an energy outside of the colonial lens of uterus bearing person that pushed you out, I think that that could be a huge shift. I'm going to read some of these comments too.
That's great.
Tiffany says, "Yeah, I'm not ready to give up alcohol either. Felt. I'm just gonna die through it. I don't know what to tell you, Tiff. Me and you,
Yeah, that's all right. Whenever you're ready or whenever you're ready, that's it. You don't have to be ready today. It's
Carolyn says,
okay.
caffeine, but never coffee. Never. Yeah, I can reduce things in aspects, but I need the coffee. Tiffany says, regulating temperature in general for sure. So that we're going back to like some of the other stuff. Pega says, I'm in love. I'm in a love affair with the plants in my yard. Discovering a new
Hmm.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Discovering a new to me native is my favorite dopamine. I love that for you. And it's like so much fun. Ever since, even when the kids were little, there's
Awesome.
like an app, right, where you could scan it, find it. And like, I share with you guys, I love being on a nature walk. I hate going into a gym to walk on a treadmill, or I don't have a treadmill in my house. So I
Mm.
walk
Hmm.
miles outside and I could barely pull a mile on my treadmill. But you can go outside and we discover things and we connect and we talk and we listen. It's beautiful. Kavita says local indigenous people may also have some old knowledge on remedies too. Absolutely.
Of
Uh,
course.
Myrtle here in Australia, plus other native plants. Yes, I think that that's something very much to tap into if there is a tribal place space, a gathering or what have you. I know in Stone Mountain here in Georgia, they often have they have it's not like tribal markets, but the indigenous folks of that area come to markets with a lot of things and knowledge. And there's plenty going on in that area. I'm not too familiar about anywhere else. But yes, tap into all of those things, right? Get back into that season. Do you do retreats or healing anything in your place and space?
Not at present. It's something I'm thinking about developing in the future, though, for sure. The main thing I'm capable of keeping together right now, 'cause, I mean, I tend to get a little bit too much on my plate,
Okay.
and yeah, but the main thing I do is consultation in person at the markets, and then additionally consultation via email and DM and things like that. Like, I feel like problem solving where people haven't been heard or, it might be a little complicated, I think that's where I show up the best. And when I first moved here, I had, a million different ideas, and
Right.
some of them have fallen in the wayside, and some are still potential. And yeah, at present, I'm not doing that, no.
Okay. But
But
that's like pruning, isn't it? Right? Like you have this huge ideas. I have plenty of those. So I fully
so many.
and then it's like makes sense, what actually aligns, and all of that has to come into place. Carolyn
Yes,
said, our local band is helping people re-indigenize their properties. I think that that is so important,
awesome. Yeah,
deeply
yeah,
important. To ditch the lawns, re-indigenize, and
right.
grow some food, grow some medicinal plants, figure it out. And it could be simple, right? You may not want to become a medicine person. You may just want to make potpourri. Do you guys remember potpourri? I love potpourri.
Oh, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
and for me, part of the journey in living here was taking permaculture uh, certification and learning, which is indigenous knowledge, and learning how to basically want to replicate systems of nature, the forest systems, and more hands-off approach to growing, and that's been a big value for how I show up here. And also that I grow native species, native fruiting species especially, and talk and do some education on it as well.
I love that. Mia says that they turned 48 today. Happy birthday, Mia. I
Happy
love that.
birthday.
And she said, and being in such a beautiful chat is both healing and hilarious in the best way, a way to kick. Fuck yes, right? Because we need to be
Nice.
celebrating. We need to be celebrating this. I love this era for me. Because again,
It's incredible.
it is. Many of us, our children are at least, it depends on when you have kids, right? Because I have one kid that's turning 29, another one that's turning 13, and my youngest is
Mm.
just 6. So you're going
Oh,
to be in, I know,
wow.
insane. It's insane. Um, but many of us are in a season where our children are less dependent, right? Because even my 6-year-old, she's up right now, right? But she's hanging out, she's on the phone.
Mm.
She could do things. I've set up systems in the house. So there is just this, like I said, for me, it's a beautiful return to myself, right? It is a
Yep.
time that has long since been forgotten. My body hasn't been my own. And when you are socialized as a woman in this country, in this world,
Mm.
in time,
Mhm.
patriarchal rule, your body never was your own. There's a point in time it never was, right? Because it's always there for the male gaze. If you
Yep.
are for the white gaze, it's always for something. It
Yep.
exists for someone else, for the benefit of someone else. And there is a beauty that happens. And I speak with a lot of white women that go through this shift into menopause. And once that male gaze drops
Mm.
for them, they have this
Mhm.
homecoming, right? Because nobody's checking for 40 something year old you because you can't breed more white people. So you become disposable to the patriarchy, which is simultaneously painful, but also liberating. So there's this in between space. And for me, I just love coming back home to myself. Like I'm like, oh, I love this. Like tying my shoe,
Mhm.
no more breastfeeding. Oh, auntie outside.
Yep.
I feel the energy of that. Let me see. What did Kavita
You're
say? Oh, Kavita,
having a personal sexual revolution too.
yes. Because again, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to be partnered. I'm ready to drag this thing across the street. It's ridiculous.
Mhm.
And also experiences that differently too, which also brings me to talking point 3 and
Right.
start wrapping this up, right? So supremacy culture undermined our wombs, right? As an example that uterus-bearing bodies have endured medical violence, forced sterilization, neglect, and exclusion from certain trials. And all so reproductive labor can be centered for the colonizers' agenda, right? Like when we just watch what happened with Adriana Smith here in
Yeah.
Georgia. That was a deceased
Horrifying.
forced to bring forth life. Energetically, if baby chance
Wow.
survives, and I am not saying this lightly, my child, who's about to be 13, was a
Yeah.
my. So this is not me not understanding the journey. Aaron
Mm.
weighed less than what Chance did, born.
Mm.
Aaron came home. It took 3 months in the NICU. Aaron came home with oxygen and needed all sorts of supports for quite some time. So I
Yeah.
have literally been a living parent of someone born in Chance's condition. So I don't take it lightly. But I'm always going to choose life. And her life was no longer existing. And when you go to Henrietta Lacks and the disqualification of midwifery based on the fact that it was Black women
Mm.
leading and white men wanted to capitalize on it, and using
Yeah.
women over and over again for medical progress, for of indigenous women, of Black women globally. This
Yeah.
is globally, so that
Yes.
white women can continue to breed white children. There is something that needs to happen, a shift that needs to happen amongst womb body people, like a recognition and
Yeah.
accountability, right? And a deep recognition, right? Because we can't just like put a nice swath and just say feminism and patriarchy. And it's like, it's deeper, it's further, right? Even to your point, when you're talking about Mother Nature, when I talk about it, we need to be
Yeah.
talking forced colonization of her, right?
Right.
The extraction of her, that undermining
Ex-
of Earth being the first mother of us all, and how it's
Exactly.
are to what she brings forth every single day. All of that energy needs to shift. The thought terminating cliches that I offered here is menopause is a woman's issue. So that's not true, right? I'm raising a very cis hetero,
Mm.
like it's like a woefully cis hat. I'm like, geez, Louise. No. I'm like, God, this shit is crazy. And he is super well aware of the things that are going on with my body,
Mm.
right? And other bodies in here, right? And like and we've had to have those conversations. And like he's like, well, when will I get my moon cycle? And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
you need a uterus in order to have that.
beautiful.
happen. So you see how we could shift that generationally? I didn't say, oh, well, you're a boy. And he was like, Morgan did though. Morgan was like, she was like, well, you're not a girl. I'm like, well, there are boys with uteruses. Like, that's a
Mm-hmm.
trans
Right.
child. We wind up expanding the conversation, and he's very well aware, right? And I will, I give credit to my ex for those aspects. Like he was really good about supporting me during red tenting. I didn't see my kids for 2 days. I'm like, I'm red tenting. Go to the store. I need some Hershey's with almond. So my son saw that
Mm.
extra care, soups, teas, etc.
Mm.
And he is aware. I don't hide. I grew up in a time where we were supposed to hide our pads. You guys remember that, right? Like the
Uh-huh. I do.
bathroom. Like where the fuck you want them to be? You want me to be bleeding and go and pull them out of my room, the secret alcove? And he knows up
Oh
in
my gosh.
like this is the tampon, you're on your moon cycle. It's not a woman's issue. It's a human issue. And the more
Yep.
that we open up, and it's more than a human issue because other things bleed, but let's just talk about people for now.
Right.
The more that we open up to that, because as a cis het boy who will be a cis het man who really does like girls, I don't think you guys should be letting anybody into your vagina. I think you should be weeding these guys out of the gene pool. Let me put it. I don't think you should be fucking somebody that doesn't understand how your pussy works. There it is.
Exactly. There it is. And
I
that's
think
the journey.
talk about that. I think we need to stop that, right? We could
Yep.
start weeding these people
Yep.
out of the pool because it's not a woman's issue, right? Or, they'll say we have bigger health problems. There's no bigger health problem
Mm.
than human medical issues, right? And this is how we lead into you have people legislating bodies that they shouldn't be allowed to come inside of, okay?
Right. Yep. 100%.
For me, that's really what it comes down to, right? So the reframe that I offered here is reproductive freedom means perimenopausal care too. Every phase is a part of the whole story, not just the birth part, right? As long as we are continuously focusing on birthing and we're not dismantling that really what they're trying to do. Unfortunately, as always, non-white bodies will be impacted the heaviest and the most, but what they're trying to do is stop their birth journey.
Yeah. Yep.
They want white-bodied women. Like all of these things are going to come onto you guys because they're trying to bring legal rape back. Okay, that
Oh
didn't
yeah.
the 70s because these husbands want you to be their breeders, right? So like that, there's a freedom that comes in perimenopause and menopause when you can no longer be utilized for those agendas, right?
And
And
that's stepping into some serious responsibility. And
Mhm.
I mean, this is it,
Yeah,
and it's our big responsibility to not only be there for each other, but for the each other, the world, everything, and really stand on business and for the next generations and make that example very clear, like you're
yeah.
doing.
I
Yep.
and auntie era, right? Like because you get to
Mm.
see you've been through some things, you've experienced some things, and we get to be like living ancestors. We get to be working
Yes.
towards our ancestorship, right? Because some of us just get older, we do not actually become elders. So I'm not really, I talked about that a couple episodes back. I was like, I don't. I'm not an automatic, oh, respect your elders. Some folks are just old and still stupid.
Mm.
Oh, like I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, that's for sure.
you just got older, right? Like you still have the same
Mm.
mindset. You haven't interrogated anything, and you
Hmm.
offer us nothing.
Right.
So, what does that look like, right? Like when you step into this era of your life, and like I said, that this is not just for women and those that bear uteruses. As a partner to these people, what are you doing, right? Are you recognizing? Are you still? Are you not? Are are you not saying, okay, well, what are you going through, babe? Like, does this still feel the same? What do you like? Okay, you're hot. What's happening? Not only that, is that when we ignore perimenopause, we then have to ignore that men also go through their own thing, right? Like,
Hmm.
I didn't know that men have
True.
like, a monthly cycle, hormonal cycle.
What I learned some
And I'm
time
like,
ago is, oh,
no, go ahead.
oh, yeah. Well, of course, we go through the moon, the 13 a year, but I learned at some point that men go through hormonal fluctuations several times a day, which I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That-
wild. Plus, losing the testosterone thing is a big, mental setback a lot of times, of course,
Instead of
too.
full-on conversations on earth support or anything, running to doctors, ED is real. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, you know what? That's a whole other episode because
All right.
the way that dudes do not want to have a conversation about their half-cocked cocks, I'm like, weed these people out the gene pool. I like
But,
stop
yeah.
accepting period, point blank, full stop. All right. So the reflection for the talking point three is where have you been silenced in your body's transitions? And this is for everyone.
Mm,
This is
nice.
all bodies. Yes, it was a
Mhm.
conversation about menopause and perimenopause, and that's because that's what I'm going through, right? And so I'm sharing my journey. But this reflection is for all bodies that hear this. Where have you been silenced in your body's transitions? Parts of your journey, be it perimenopause, peribirth, perisexual, deserve sacred presence and prioritized care because all bodies are shifting, are changing. 45-year-old you is not 35-year-old you, ain't 25-year-old you, is not 15-year-old you. Just those 10 years each time is a different.
Mhm.
And we have got to sit down and confront those things and have open conversations.
Yep.
These are so chatty. Kavita says, I know turmeric is great for inflammation, but what other herbs
Yes.
or plants would be great to treat that too?
So one thing about turmeric, which I love and I grow and I adore, I stopped taking it when it warms up because in Ayurveda, you might learn that it warms the body. So it doesn't necessarily do the best for us when we're going through heating,
Oh,
let's say. Yeah, it can make it more difficult. So I personally really rely on cat's claw and yarrow. I love.
mm.
Also, I mean, this is a little bit more advanced herbal knowledge, but if we know about, some of us will know about poke the plant,
Okay, so
pokeberries.
yeah,
Hmm?
yeah. Well,
Oh,
it's poke
I
salad.
thought I heard stop.
Oh,
Yeah, poke salad,
yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah, and the berry on it, and a lot of us know about elderberry too. Now, we don't eat elderberries, without cooking them, without straining them. That's because the seeds are toxic in elderberries. It's the same situation with poke. It's not the berries, but it's the seed that's toxic in a pokeberry. But if you take just the juice of it, or if you swallow a berry whole, that can also help reduce inflammation. That can be pretty accessible. But you always want to start with one or two, maybe no more than four or five, because it's still a potent medicine, but it's really good for pain. But cat's claw and yarrow are probably my 100% go-tos, especially in the summertime.
I,
Yeah.
I, I.
Oh, also
Oh,
capsaicin, which is a hot pepper, and you can do that topically and or internally, but only if your stomach can handle it. But it's a really good one too. Mhm.
I'm going to because I offer a replay. One, I'm
Mm,
definitely link your store, obviously. And maybe we could put together like a little starter garden for the support of your transitional journey. And I
love it.
make it very gender neutral because again, all bodies are transitioning. Okay. So if you happen to be a dude and you listen to this and you're like, oh, there's just a woman's issue, sir. Figure out what's going on with your
Mhm,
because
mhm.
okay.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, like all of that, right? Like we all deeply need support. Earth medicine is absolutely divine medicine, in my opinion. And I think
Yes.
we need um this is just a part of that community building, right? Like for me, it's a part of that community building, that learning, that returning to self and re-indigenizing ourselves, the land, etc.
Yes.
Carolyn said that
All of it.
starting starter garden for the win. Great. That's what we'll do. All right. I'm going to wrap this up and give you our three talking points that we went. One, this is Season Opitz from Dancing Spring Garden of Arkansas. Dink. You should follow them.
Hello.
Talking today is our bodies were never designed for their full wisdom, right? That separation. supremacy culture. And this is what it looks like to reclaim that wisdom, to tap into our bodies, to come back home, decolonize the body, what it looks like, and how it's meant to perform inside of supremacy culture. Two, perimenopause is a revolution and herbs are our allies because, yes, okay, the idea of not being able to breed and feed humans. Listen, also for the fellas, vasectomy.
Mm,
I promise you, your sex life would change immensely if you wasn't worried about getting somebody knocked up until you died. Think about
that's
it.
true.
Think about it. Just think about it. Just at least, okay? It's no less your manhood. Please just think about it. I assure you, there is a freedom that you experience when you're like, oh, I could just have sex. Yummy. Three, supremacy culture undermined our wombs, right? In all of the ways, right? From Mother Earth to the wombed person. It has completely undermined it and only flattened it, right? Supremacy culture, we talk about this all the time. It is not made to be dynamic, it flattens all experiences. It wants it to be monolithic. Here you go. This person has a uterus. This uterus is for breeding, and it needs to be a white uterus to breed more for white supremacy. That is how this works. So we are going back, right? We're shifting time, going back to things, and we are going back to that womb with them. Let me see. Carolyn says that would be amazing. Okay. Oh, thank you so much for this. You're so welcome. Season, if you have anything else to say at the end, there you go. I'll leave it with you.
Yes, thank you. I guess I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I'm not very active on Discord, but I would like to invite y'all to follow me if you're on Facebook on my Dancing Spring Garden page.
I will put
And yeah, and I'd be super open to any DMs, any questions, any problem solving, or anything at all like that. And you can also email me as well, dancingspringgarden@gmail.com, and my website, dancingspringgarden.com. I've got a lot of stuff to peruse and hopefully help some symptom management and connect with herbal allies and feel that love, that mama, that big earth mama love.
I love that. I love that. And again, this will be in the replay. So I will get all the links from Susan and put them in there. I'm super sorry about the other day's replay. I do not know what happened. There is nothing to recover. So that is why there was no replay for Wednesday. Remember, if you were here, where I had to shift from Wi-Fi to regular. I think that that's where it disconnected and there was nothing to recover. So hopefully this will go all the way well. And if not, I will still write an article so you can get the information. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Monday, I will return and we will go into what we were going to discuss, which is liberated language for relationships. Love you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you for giving me the extra time. I told you we were going to talk about these things, and I have the perfect co host to do that. So thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Desiree. You're amazing. I love you so much.
I love you too. And thank you for the support, girl. I'm gonna put a pretty picture of all of that beautiful package that you sent me so they can see, and hopefully you get so many orders because it's actually working for me. And I'm like,
I'm
here we go.
so happy. That makes me so happy. I love it.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye bye.